I'm Jason Bovada, and I just won over $300 on Canelo. Let's see, how do we get there? First of all, I want to say shout out to Canelo. Great performance versus Billy Saunders tonight. I believe he won by 8th round TKO. The last few weeks, I've been parlaying, I believe that's a word, Canelo with basically everyone, and I just hit 30 parlays for over $300. I put Canelo with everyone I thought was going to win the last few weeks. So let's see, how did we get there? As you can see, we hit a 16 parlay with Canelo, Ruiz. You know what? I'm gonna do that. Let's just say we won a 16 parlay here. This looks like a bunch of, it was boxing and MMA. You got Parker, you got Chris. We won a 5-team parlay over here. This was a mainly boxing, Katie Taylor. We won a 10-team parlay here. We got Valentina, we got Katie Taylor, Ruiz, Canelo, Edgar, mainly boxing. We won another 10-team parlay over here. We have Ruiz, Katie Taylor, Parker. We also added some tennis. I love betting on tennis, so we had Rudd. So we won a 10-team parlay. There we won a 12-team parlay. As you can see, this one was a lot of tennis here. We got some boxing, Ruiz, Parker, Canelo, Taylor. We won a 6-team parlay with Rudd. This is got 2 tennis, 1 MMA, and 3 boxing. We won a 6-team parlay over here. This was mainly boxing, like Taylor, Eubank, Tim, Andrade, Parker. That's a 16. We won a 16 parlay. This had some basketball in it. We had the Bucks beating the Lakers a few nights ago. We got Taylor, Valentina. We won a 17 parlay over here. This was mainly boxing. I think this is all boxing. Ruiz, Parker, Eubank, Andrade. We won a 16 parlay over here. This, I have no idea who these teams are, actually. I don't know. It could be basketball. Looks like basketball. We won one with Texas Rangers versus the Tampa Bay Rays. They probably were leading early or late in that game, so I'll probably, like a parlay like this where you see like minus 50,000 and minus 6,000. These are teams who were leading late. So what I did was I added them to, I knew Canelo was gonna win. So I added a bunch of teams that were leading late in their games to parlays with Canelo. So that's how I won this 16 parlay. But I have no idea who the Comets or Timbers or FC. I have no idea. It could be basketball. It could be soccer. I literally have no idea. And then we won a single $9 on Canelo winning by KO, TKO, or DQ, which I can't even imagine how you could win. Oh, I guess you win by DQ if Saunders would have lost by DQ. We also won a 12-team parlay. This one is mainly, you see, this is a lot of tennis. My boy Rudd, yeah, Kiki. Looks like we have some baseball in there. I think that's Japanese baseball. We have Ruiz, Katie Taylor, and Canelo. There was the last few weeks, a lot of parlays had Katie Taylor and Ruiz and Alvarez. Those were my 3 basically locks. So I added them to basically any parlay I could add them to. As you can see, you got Katie Taylor, you got Laura who won last week. This is a boxing. You get a 16 parlay there. We won a 16 parlay over here. This looks like about the same. Ruiz, Taylor, Eubank Jr., Parker. We won a 5-team parlay with Nadal, Alvarez, Sinner. I think that's a boxer, right? And then Dominique. Yeah, so this is a lot of tennis. This 5-team parlay. This was a tennis parlay right here. We won a 11-team parlay over here. We added some tennis. Somehow Cerrone versus Diego Sanchez is there. I have no idea how did I win that one because Cerrone lost. So I don't even know how that's even possible. Because Cerrone lost and he got his ass kicked in the first round. So I don't even know how they added that. I'm not gonna complain. We won a 16 parlay with the Sixers. We won with the Royals beating the Patriots, and then we have Eubank, Taylor, Alvarez, and Parker. As you can see, those four, they were fighting. Like I believe Chris fought last weekend. I think Katie Taylor fought last weekend. I believe Parker fought last weekend. So I added them with Canelo from last weekend. We won a 14 parlay. As you can see, tennis, and Canelo. We won a 12-team parlay over here. This looks like a lot of tennis. And Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, Canelo, and Alvarez. Okay, we won a 14 parlay over here. This is Nadal, Rudd, Canelo, and Stephanus. I can't pronounce his name. But that's the tennis. He's in tennis. I love, as I stated earlier, I love betting on tennis. It's one of my favorite sports to watch, and I actually love betting on it also. So that was a really good, nice $10 14 parlay. We won a 14 parlay over here with my New York Yankees. Shout out to them always. This is baseball, and Canelo. Okay. That was a 14 parlay. We won a 10-team parlay over here. We got tennis, Valentina, MMA, and then boxing. Oh, and Usman. I took Usman in this parlay, a 10-team parlay that only $1.90. But we added Usman versus Masvidal to this parlay a few weeks ago, and he won Viva TKO, or was it a KO? I believe it was a KO. He knocked out Jorge Masvidal. So shout out to Usman for helping us win this 10-team parlay over here. We won a 12-team parlay over here. I don't know. Houston versus Baylor? I have no idea what that is. Like, is that basketball? I literally have no idea. Yeah, as you can see, I don't know any of these people, actually. I can't pronounce them, and I have no idea this could be a boxing. This looks like boxing and baseball, but Houston versus Baylor, I have no idea if that was, like, Baylor was number 1 and Houston was number 2. I have no idea what that parlay is, but shout out to them for helping us win this 12-team parlay. This 12-team parlay got us extra $4. So that was a nice parlay. We won a 14 parlay right there. As you can see, that was the main four I was betting on was Canelo, Ruiz, Taylor, and Parker. I added them to almost all my parlays. And Ruiz had problems last weekend. Parker got knocked out in the first round. So this was not the easiest parlay in the world to win. But I'm glad everyone came through for this 14 parlay. Katie Taylor, she took care of business as always. Shout out to Katie Taylor. We won a 5-team parlay over here. This looks like a boxing because I don't know any of these. I don't know Keyshawn Davis or Frank Sanchez or Kelvin Davis or Soto. I literally have no idea who they are. I'm assuming this would be boxing. I'm assuming that. But, it was a nice win for a 5-team parlay and $9. We won a 10-team parlay. And we added Jake Paul to that. How about that? And Robert Whitaker. Shout out to my boy Robert Whitaker for his victory over Calvin Gastelum a few weeks ago. And Valentina Shevchenko, of course, it was a lock. We won a 9-team parlay over here, and I have no idea who these people are, actually. First 3, I can't pronounce them, and I don't know. Was it baseball? Was it basketball? Was it soccer? I have no clue at all. But we added... This was a 9-team parlay, and we added Eubank and Parker and Taylor and Ruiz and Canelo to that one. We won a 12-team parlay over here. This looks like some boxing and some tennis, I believe. Tennis. Alexander, I believe. I know he's tennis, but everyone else below, I have no idea who they are, actually. So I'm surprised I added them to this parlay. But shout out to everyone for, helping us win this 12-team parlay. We won a 14 parlay. It looks like we bet on Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz and Canelo. It looks like we made this parlay like 7 times on its own. So, but they all won. So that was very helpful for us. Yeah, as you can see, look, is this the exact same? Okay, so this one didn't have Parker. We won a 4-team parlay without Parker, and then we won a 5-team parlay with Parker. I guess I was trying to hedge. I was a little concerned about Chisaro beating Parker, so I didn't want to put Parker in all of my parlays, but I was really, really confident in Eubank and Taylor and Ruiz and, of course, Canelo, of course. That was a 5-team parlay, another 5-team parlay. Basically the same parlay, Canelo, Ruiz, Taylor, Parker, Eubank, almost all the time. Then we won a 6-team parlay. I believe he's a boxer. He won his match like a week ago, I believe. That was a tough decision, but shout out to him. Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, Canelo, and Parker, again, of course. We won a 6-team parlay. Somehow we added the Orlando Magic. I believe they have like 10 wins this season. They have more than 10 wins, but as you can see, they were minus 10,000, so they were most likely up late in the game, and I decided to add them to one of my parlays. And then we have a 10-team parlay down here. We added Usman to that one also, of course. Shout out to Usman for that victory, and shout out to Valentina Shevchenko, of course. We added two UFC fights to this 8-team parlay over here. That was a nice victory. Only $1.89, but clearly on a long one that helped. As you can see, this parlay was heavy favorites. We have a minus 700, minus 2,000, minus 4, minus 175, minus 35, minus 5,000, minus 4, and minus 4. So $1.89, we'll take it. We want an 8-team parlay over here. This looks like a boxing and one with Valentina also added to this parlay. We want a 4-team parlay over here with Parker, Canelo, Valentina, and Gonzaga. We want a 9-team parlay over here with Jury, and shout out to him for his victory over Dominic Reyes last weekend. That was a spinning back elbow or something. I don't know what it's officially called, but I know he finished Reyes. So shout out to Jury, UFC fighter. And this was a 9-team parlay that gained us $15. That was a pretty big parlay for us, right? As you can see, we also added Laura, who probably wants to fight Canelo at some point. We want a 6-team parlay over here with Valentina, Edgar, Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, and Canelo. That was a plus $5. We want a 6-team parlay over here for $1.20, for $1.12. Valentina, Usman, Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, and Canelo. Shout out to that. We want an 8-team parlay for $7.32 with the Royals and Michael and Eubank and Parker and Taylor and Ruiz and Canelo. That was a nice parlay to win. We want a 9-team parlay over here. This was plus $2.87. I cannot pronounce the first leg of this parlay. I don't know if this is boxing or soccer. I have no idea who that is. That a team or a person? I literally have no idea. But the rest of the parlay was all boxing. It was a nice 8-team parlay. We want a 7-team parlay. National Defense Ministry. I'm assuming that's soccer. FC Juniors. That seems like soccer. Yeah, this was pretty heavy. 7-team parlay to win $2.10. We want a 14 parlay with my boy Alexander, Eubank, Taylor, and Canelo. Alexander, he's a tennis superstar in my eyes. Superstar. We want a 17 parlay, basically Michael, Eubank. Boxing, this is a boxing parlay. This is $2.81. We want a 16 parlay, which is BMS, Stall. I can't pronounce this. PTG, I have no idea who they are. I'm assuming that's soccer. I have no idea. I literally have no idea. But that was a nice 16 parlay for $1.41. We won a 16 parlay with my boy Robert Whitaker, Valentina Shevchenko. For them, I don't versus Phil Davis. Okay, I believe he is the light heavyweight champion for Bellator, and he beat Phil Davis. And this is a pretty big parlay for us because this is a 16 parlay to gain us $11.59. And Jake Paul knocked out Ben Askren in that fight, and so that was a good win. And we added him to this parlay. So this is a pretty old parlay, and we added Katie Taylor and Canelo, of course. Sean O'Malley, Sugar Sean, the Sugar Show. Okay, shout out to him with a victory over Thomas Almeida. I think that was a 3rd round victory. He finished him. So that's a pretty big victory. You know, a nice parlay for us. A 3-team parlay with Sugar Sean, Valentina, you know, UFC, and Canelo. A nice 3-team parlay to win $9.26. I'll take it, yes. We won a 16 parlay, basically the same parlay that we've been playing this entire time. We won a 16 parlay for $2.56. I cannot pronounce the first 2 teams, Sparta, Prague. I have no idea who they are. And then Canelo, Taylor, and Jake Paul. So Jake Paul got us some money in this. As you can see, we added him to a few parlays, Jake Paul. And then we won a 14 parlay with SCM University. What? I have no idea who they are. I have no idea. I don't know. But we had a 14 parlay with SCM and Taylor and my boy Canelo and Valentina. And then we won a 18 parlay for $4.95 with the Minnesota Twins and HK Abigard. I don't know who they are. Is that soccer or baseball? I have no idea. Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, Canelo, and Parker. We won a 16 parlay for $3.97 with the Utah Jazz beating the Lakers. We got Taylor, Canelo, and Uriah Hall. How about that? We added Uriah Hall to this parlay. Uriah Hall defeated Chris Weidman a few weeks ago at a UFC event. Fever. Was it a TKO? I know Chris Weidman hurt. He injured his leg. I don't know if it was a check kick, but I know he broke his leg in similar fashion to Anderson Silva versus Chris Weidman, ironically enough. So we added Uriah Hall to that parlay, and that gained us $3.97. That was a nice parlay for us. We won a $3-team parlay for Canelo, Jake Paul, and Valentina. How about that? We got boxing, and MMA. That was a nice pickup of $8.19. We won a 14 parlay when Ryan Bader defeated Lyoto Machida a few weeks ago at a Bellator event, and we added Valentina, Katie Taylor, and Canelo in that. Picked up $2.31. We won a 3-team parlay with Valentina, Taylor, and Alvarez. Okay. We won a 16 parlay with Ryan Bader, Valentina, Andrade, Eubank, Taylor, and Alvarez. We won a 14 parlay with the Atlanta Hawks. They probably were leading the Toronto Raptors late in that game, so they won. And we had them with Alvarez, Andrade, and Valentina. That was a nice $2.19 pickup. We won a 16 parlay with when Ryan Bader, Valentina, Andrade, Taylor, Alvarez, and we took the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Philadelphia Sixers. Sixers were probably losing that game late, so I probably added the Memphis Grizzlies to this parlay pretty late, and I added them there. That was a nice 16 parlay for $4.30. We won a 14 parlay with basically Eubank, Taylor, Canelo, and Valentina for $3.53. We won a 17 parlay with Jake Paul. Jake Paul's in this one. As you can see, the last two, I believe, are soccer teams. I have no idea who they are. But that was a nice 17 parlay. We won a $17. Wow, this is probably one of the biggest ones. $17 parlay on Canelo, and I don't know who this team are. I would imagine they were probably leading late, and maybe a soccer team. We won a 7-team parlay with Uriah Hall, Usman, my boy Usman, Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, and Canelo. We won a single parlay, a single $16.69 on Canelo just beating Billy Joe. We won $11.25 on the under 10 and a half rounds on Canelo. I believe the fight ended in the 8th round, so that was a nice pickup of $11.25, a single win. Oh, looks like we lost something down here. How about that? Oh, looks like, yeah, we lost some. Okay, that's okay. But yeah, that's 30 parlays. We won 30 parlays in the last few weeks. As you can see, we added Canelo, Taylor, Valentina, Andrade, Ryan Bader, Jake Paul, shout out to him. Usman, shout out to him. Ruiz, shout out to him. Eubank, shout out to him. Katie Taylor, of course. Shout out to the Sugar Show, Sean O'Malley. Shout out to my boy Robert Whitaker, of course. That's my boy. He clearly deserves a title shot versus Israel. I don't know what the UFC is doing, but it's all good. Yeah, a lot of these parlays are like basically small, $2.81, for a 17 parlay, 14 parlay for $1.49. But as you can see, I was trying to add all these parlays of teams who I thought were going to win the last few weeks with Canelo. So I would have lost basically all these parlays if Canelo lost. But also I would have lost all these parlays if everyone else would have lost. So, I just want to say shout out to everyone I bet on the last few weeks. Shout out to the competitors. Great events the last few weeks. And, when you see something like a Canelo fight, you have to add him to basically any event you think, any sport event you think is going to win, and then parlay it. Just parlay it, and, in the end, it may come back to really help you. A $3, a 16 parlay for $3.99 may not be the biggest deal, but if you do that 29 other times, that adds up to, clearly, as you can see, over $379. So yeah, a really good night for us. Really proud. I definitely want to say this one right here, this 14 parlay, Eubank, Taylor, Ruiz, and Canelo. As you can see, they were definitely in the majority of my parlays, the majority of the 30 parlays that we've won. So I'm really happy about that. We're basically gonna do this again. I believe there's a Floyd Mayweather fight coming up soon. There's a few fights. There's an Israel Adesanya fight. He's fighting Marvin Vettori. So there's a few more fights that we're gonna do this again. Israel is like a minus 265, and Mayweather's like minus 1200. So we're gonna be adding a few more parlays in the next few months on teams who I think are gonna win, and I'm just gonna try to get the final payoff with Israel or Mayweather the next few in July. We're definitely gonna try to do this again. But this was a good night. As you can see, we added a lot of tennis. As I said, I really love betting on tennis. I love watching the sport of tennis. I'm a big fan of tennis. So I definitely love cross betting on like boxing, maybe 2 boxing events, a few tennis events, maybe like 1 basketball event, right? And it just it adds up after a while, as you can see. So yeah, this was a really, really strong night, a really good night for us, of course. Plus $379. Basically all on, I can't say it's all on Canelo, because as you can see, these are 16 parlays. So shout out to everyone for winning, But clearly, if Canelo would have lost, I wouldn't have won a single dime tonight. I literally would not have won a single dime. But to me, that seemed like a lock. 7-1 odds versus Billy Joe Saunders. And I didn't really feel like Billy Joe had any competition even close to Canelo. Canelo's the best boxer in the world at the moment. So that's, really, really happy about that. Yeah, so there you have it. That was 30 parlays for plus $379 or $363 for the most part. A very good night for your boy. I'm Jason Bovada, and I won over $300 on Canelo tonight.